Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss new topic that is auxiliary verbs and modal auxiliary verbs. Most of the students get confused while using auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs. As we know that verbs are the integral parts of the sentence because no sentence is complete without the use of verb. So there are different types of verb. But today we are going to discuss only auxiliary verbs and modal auxiliary verbs. So first of all, we will see auxiliary verbs. Now, what is an auxiliary verb? Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. Mainly, there are three auxiliary verbs: to be, to have, and to do. To be in the form of is, am, are, was, were, being, and been. To have in the form of has, have, and had. To do in the form of do, does, did. These all the verbs are used with a main verb to make tenses, passive forms, questions, and negatives. This verb was may be used alone and may be used with main verb also. For example, you are students, you are learners. So here, you are student, this sentence is used in the form of statements. Next example, she was calling her friend. So here, the word calling is the main verb and the word was is an auxiliary verb. As I told you earlier, auxiliary verbs indicates the tense, mood, grammatical aspects and so on of the main verb. There are three types of auxiliary verbs in English. So first, to be verb as a forms like am, is, are, was, were, being and been. So am, is, are used in the form of present tense. Was, were in the form of past tense. Being is used in the form of passive voice. Been is used in the perfect continuous tense. Second verb is to have. Have has main form have, has and had. Has and have both are used in the present tenses and had is used in the past tense. So the third auxiliary verb is to do and the main form of the verb to do are do, does and did. Now let's see the different uses of to be auxiliary verbs. To be is used in the formation of the continuous tenses. For example, he is working, they are playing, I am writing. Here the word working and writing is the main verb and the word is, am is an auxiliary verb. Next, it is used in active voice and passive voice. When we changed sentence into the passive voice, we use to be form. For example, it is done. Next rule, be followed by the infinitives is used. For example, I am to see him tomorrow. Here the word to see is the main verb which come with infinitives and the word am is an auxiliary verb. Next rule, auxiliary verb it is used to denote command. It means ordered. For example, you are to write your name and roll number at the top of each sheet of paper. Here are the uses of to have auxiliary verbs. So the auxiliary have is used in the formation of perfect tenses. For example, she has gone. He has been working. So here the word gone and working is the main verb and has is an auxiliary verb which come with perfect tenses. Next rule, have to is used with infinitives to indicate obligation. It means that compulsion. For example, he has to move the furniture himself. Next rule, the past form of had to is used to express obligation in the past. For example, I had to be there by 5 o'clock. Next example, he had to move the furniture himself. So the third and last part of the auxiliary verb is to do. So these are used in three contexts. First is used in the negatives and interrogative sentences. For example, I don't know. It is used in the sense of negatives. Next example, does she go there? It is used in the sense of interrogatives. So next rule, it is used to avoid repetition of previous main verb. For example, she sings well. Yes, she does. So here, instead of saying yes, she sings well, we use yes, she does. Next example, you met him, didn't you? Next rule, it is used in the imperatives to make a request or invitation more persuasive. For example, oh, do come. It is going to be such a fun. Next example, do be quiet. In such cases, do is strongly stressed. So, there are few more examples of to be, to do, and to have form. So, read them and understand it. Now, we will see different modal auxiliary verbs and their uses. So, what is a modal auxiliary verbs? The verb can, could, may, might, shall, should, must, ought to are called modal verbs or modal auxiliary verbs. They are used before main verbs and expresses different attitudes, ideas or moods such as permission, possibility, ability, request, willingness, determination, promise, habit, intention, threat, obligation, necessity, and so on. For example, he can swim across the river. Here, he is the subject. Can is the modal auxiliary. Swim is the main verb. So, modal auxiliary verb is used before main verb. Here you can see different modal auxiliary verbs which we use regularly in our routine life. For example, can, could, will, would, must, ought to, shall, should, may, might, have to, need to, dare to, used to. Now let us see one by one different modal auxiliary verbs and their uses. The first is can. Can is used to express ability and capacity. For example, Rajveer can speak French but he cannot speak German. So this example tells about ability of speaking French, but again it can express the inability of speaking German. Next example, she can sing really well. It is talking about singing ability. Next rule, it is used to express request. For example, can I use your pen, my friend? Can you help me? Can I offer you something to drink? Can is used to express permission. For example, can I use your cell phone? You can't go out with Victor. Next rule, it is used to express theoretical possibility. For example, anybody can make mistakes. So, the possibility of making mistakes. Next example, the examination can be postponed. So, here the possibility of postponing the examination. Another modal auxiliary verb is a could. It is used to express abilities in the past. For example, he could read when he was 4. So, in the past, he was able to read. Next example, Rahul could do 50 push-ups in 5 minutes when he was young. So, in the past, Rahul was able to do 50 push-ups. So, another example is Sumit could talk when he was a 4. Next rule, it is used to express permission with a more polite way as compared to can. For example, could I use your pen, my friend? Next rule, it is used for polite request. For example, could you pass the salt? So, it is used to express present or future possibilities. For example, the meeting could be postponed. So, it expresses future possibility of postponing the meeting. Next example, you could win £1,000,000. So, it expresses future possibility of winning £1,000,000. Next example, so here you can see could with present perfect tense is used to express something in the past may be real. For example, you could have been killed in that accident. So it expresses past may be real. Next example, I could have won that game. So could is used to express possibilities that might have been real. Now, here are the uses of shall. Shall is used in the first person to express pure future. For example, shall we meet at the bus stop? Next example, I shall never forget your help. Next rule, shall is used in the second and third person to express a command, a promise, or threat. For example, he shall not enter my house again. So, it is used in the sense of command. You shall have a holiday tomorrow. So, it is used in the sense of promise. Next example, you shall punish for this. So, it is used in the sense of threat. Here, the uses of should. Should is used to give advice and opinions. For example, you are driving too fast. You should slow down a little bit. Next example, you should not go outside during lockdown. So here should is used to give advice and opinions. Here should is used in all persons to express duty or obligation. For example, we should obey the constitution of the country. Here should is used to express obligation. Next example, you should keep your promise. Next rule, to suggest a least strong possibility. Example, if you should pass the bakery, can you buy some bread? So here least possibility is expressed. It is used with present perfect tense, means something in the past should not be done. For example, the baby is crying. You should not have talked so loudly. So this example tells that if somebody had not spoken loudly, the baby would not have started to cry. Next example, mom is angry. You should not have come back to so late. So the example tells that if you had come late, mom would not angry on you. The uses of will. Will is used to express future tense. For example, Seema will leave tomorrow. She will be back in a few days. So here future is expressed by using modal auxiliary verb will. Next rule, it is used to express willingness. For example, I will carry your books. It means I am willing to carry your books. Assumptions and probability. For example, this will be the book you want, I suppose. So this example tells that subject assumes that somebody wants this book. Next example, that will be the postman, I think. So it assumes that this is a postman. Next rule, will is used for specific prediction or timeless prediction and habitual prediction. For example, the match will be over by now. So here this sentence or this example indicates specific prediction. The sun will continue to shine. So a prediction that holds for all time. Next example, he will sleep for hours if he is not hungry. So something that happens always. Now here are the uses of would. Would is used at the past of will. For example, she said she would carry my books. So in this sentence, she was willing to carry her book. Next example, I believed it would rain, so I bought my raincoat. Next rule, to express polite request. For example, would you please take off your coat? Next example, would you mind turning the radio off? So in these sentences, would you is a more polite than will you. Would is used to express actions takes place in the past. For example, Geeta would sit for hours listening to the music. So in this sentence, past habit is expressed. Next example, every morning he would read newspaper. So in this sentence, past habit of reading. Next rule, would is used to express desire. For example, I would like to have one day off. I would love to stay for a few more days. Now here, would after love, like, wish express a strong desire. The uses of have to. So now let us see the different uses of have to. So it is used to express something is a necessary or essential action. There is an example. Students have to wear uniform. So this example expresses necessity of wearing uniform. And this have to is also used express obligation also. Next example, I have to exercise. This example express necessity and essential of exercise. Next rule, that is used to express something that is not to be done necessity. For example, we do not have to get up early on Sunday. Next example, she does not have to live in the hotel. She can live with us. So this example expresses that action is not necessary. Here is another modal auxiliary verb. The first use of must is to express necessity or obligation. For example, you must improve your spelling. So this example tells about necessity of improving spelling. And another example is telling so about obligation. It means you must get up early. Must is also used logical certainty and necessity. The first example is Shayla is not answering the phone. She must be out. So this example is telling logical certainty that if Shayla is not answering the phone, it means she must not be at home. She must be out. Another example expressing logical necessity. So now here you can see there must be a policeman on duty. Must not is used to express something is not permitted or allowed. So here you can see, Ria, you must not play with fire. Next example, you must not smoke, eat and drink in the museum. You must not drink and drive. Next example, the children must not go into the street. So these all the example is used to express something is not permitted or allowed there. The uses of may. May is used to express possibility in the present or in the future. For example, it may rain today. Next example, the meeting may be postponed. Next rule, it is used for permission. So as we know that, may I go out, sir? May I come in, madam? You may come if you want. It is used to express wish or hope. So, may you live a happy and long life. Next example, may success attend you. The uses of might. Might is used to express less possibility in the future or in the present tense. Okay. For example, Akshay might be in the library. I am not sure. She might come here next week. Next example, it might rain this evening. So these all the example expresses something was possible but did not actually happen. Next rule, might is used to express a degree or dissatisfaction or reproach. For example, you might pay a little attention to your appearance. So this sentence expressed to one's disapproval of or disappointment in their action. Might is used with present perfect tense, means speculation or assumptions about the past. For example, Edward is late. He might have missed his bus or he might have overslept. So this example is express assumptions about Edward's past action. The uses of ought to. Ought to is used for logical necessity or expectation. So ought to usually has the same meaning as should, particularly in affirmative statements like you ought to do your homework. She ought to attend the ceremony. Next rule, it is used to express more obligation or desirability. For example, we ought to love our neighbor. So this example express about desirability. You ought to obey your parents. So this example express about obligation or compulsion. Next, it is used to express probability. For example, this book ought to be very useful. Here are the uses of need to. So, need to is used to express that something is important for you to do or to express a responsibility or duty. For example, they need to study more if they want to get good grades. Next example, we need to focus on getting new business this month. So, this example express that something is important for you to do. Next rule, it is commonly used in negativity and questions. For example, do you need to go now? So, in questions, you need not accept the offer. So, in negativities, I need not have bought it. So, it was not necessary to buy it, but I bought it. The auxiliary verb construction used to express an action or habit that was common in the past but not anymore. For example, I used to drink coffee every morning but now I drink tea. So this example expresses past habit which is not being practiced presently. Next example, she used to live in London but now she lives in New York. So this example expresses an action that took place in the past but not now. So another example is he used to play football professionally but he had to quit because of an injury. So this is the last slide of the lecture. The uses of dare to. Dare to is used in the sense of bravery, challenge or face boldly. For example, she dared to swim across the river. So it is used in the sense of challenge. How does he dare to do it? So it is used in the sense of face boldly. Next rule, dare is used in negatives and interrogative sentences. For example, you dare not spend that money. Next example, he does not dare speak to me. Next rule, we use this to express impossibility. For example, here you can see, nobody dare insult his father. The man dare not go to his office. So it is used in the sense of impossibility. So I conclude here dealing with auxiliary and modal auxiliary verb. So I hope the information in this video lecture will be beneficial for you. So I tried my best to deal with all the auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs. So thank you so much.